What's up, friends, family, neighbors, lovers, past, present, and future? I'm Ian, and this is Plexi. That's where the intro goes. So what is Plexi? I don't know. Just kidding. I built it. I built it to replace my terminal. I was using Ghosty. If you don't know what a terminal is, I'm not gonna do that in this video. I'm gonna assume the audience of this video is like, you know what a terminal is, you've used Ghosty, you've explored tmux, you're almost satisfied with cmux, you're kind of waiting for, for a terminal to come out that does everything that Ghosty does, like the robustness of Ghosty or even like the Mac default terminal. But the customization and modularity of like a whole operating system, you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, that's exactly what I want. I don't know if anyone's ever thought that. I thought that. I thought, wow, if I spend 99% of my time on a computer, especially with coding agents and using like NeoVim, if I spend 99% of my time in the terminal, I might as well have my terminal app might as well be really just the best app of all time. And it didn't exist, so I made it. And I kind of am going to do a general overview, not really well planned, not scripted. It's really hard to walk through what this app can do because on the one hand, I'm building it most hours of most days these days. So what it can do changes on a moment's notice. But I'm daily driving it every second of every day. So it's really hard for me to know what it does versus other terminals at this point. So I kind of am just gonna it's hard to really plan. I'm just gonna go in and sort of say it as it comes to mind. So when it first opens, you're gonna be greeted with this, I think. Actually, I think when it opens, it looks like this initially. You've got a pane and you've got your sidebar. I think in the future, I'm gonna plan on it opening like this. No, I don't know. I don't know. But this gives you a little overview, drops my email in case you have any questions, because I just love to talk to people about this thing. So reach out if you've got questions, comments, concerns, feedback, hate comments. I accept those. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and what makes us stronger probably kills us eventually. So it might open like this when you open it. Depending on when you're watching this, it might not. It might open like this. I'm gonna get into the details here. You've got some details here in the little startup menu. How do I use the mouse? It's my first day. You've got some details here. This gives you a general overview. A lot of, if you're comfortable with NeoVim or Vim or even just Ghosty or just terminals in general, I tried to grab the very best of everything that I've used. So really just, try it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Command N for a new context. Command plus for font size. Why it caps out at this arbitrarily small size, I don't really know. Why it froze there? Again, I don't really know. But yeah, Command D is gonna split it. Oh, also, if you run Plexi demo, it's a little broken right now, but there is kind of a walkthrough. I'll fix it by the time you watch this video. But this will kind of give you a general breakdown. It takes you through step by step. Some of the keyboard shortcuts and helps you progress. Like you hit Command D to split, Command Shift D, and then it says move with H, J, K, and L. Similar to Vim, if you've ever done that, it's Command H, J, K, L, up, down, left, right. And then it says press enter, close the two panes. I'm gonna hit Command L to go right. I'm gonna hit Command W to close those. Command Q will quit the app, but it will give you this little handy dandy. Are you sure? You gotta triple tap it to quit. I'm not gonna do that right now. You can also enable that triple tap for the Command W to close a pane if you really want some extra hold your horses energy. And maybe we'll go into that right now. I'm not gonna finish this demo. Something that you might want to do is hit Command comma when you first get in here. That's going to open the config toml in your default editor. In this case, it's VS Code, which has some essential configs. I don't think you need you don't need a restart to do these. Right now, it's kind of wow. my VS Code actually crashes half the time. So we're just gonna cross our fingers. But yeah, you're just gonna save this file, and it'll change your theme. Now you've got this. We'll pull that up. We've got hello, goodbye. We've got a few of these. I'm typically a Tokyo night guy, and this is like, a lot of this is bound to change, so I'm not going into exhaustive detail on all these configuration options, because again, this is an active development, so a lot of this could change. Wow, my VS Code just keeps freaking out. But yeah, I'm a Tokyo night guy. You've got a few options. Did I add? Yeah, we've got BIOS if you're really freaky. If you're really freaky. This is aggressive. I wouldn't do this. Who put this in there? We're gonna pop back to Tokyo Night. Cool, so yeah, you can mess with this. It's just like Command comma to open the configurations. Agent stuff we'll get into, open runner stuff we'll get into. These effects are kind of cool. There's a CRT thing. Ghosting is like, that CRT effect looks kind of okay in the screen recording. You can't really make it out, but ooh-wee, does it look good. And then like the amount to which your inactive panes are gonna fade is right here. So I can put it down to like something aggressive, like 0.2. Now like the active terminal's really bright. How hot is that? We'll turn that down a little bit. 0.8, you know the one. Yeah, simple. So that's the configuration. I already covered basic movements. We're gonna keep things moving along. I'm gonna close that. Command B is gonna open your sidebar. Your sidebar is gonna have different contexts, and those follow. Generally, pane-related things are Command or Control on Windows, which the Windows port. Don't hold your breath. I'm working on it. I'm working. We're getting there. But generally, Command, D and HJ is for moving around panes. Generally, Command Shift and those same features are going to deal with your sidebar. Now, like for example, Command N is going to open up a new pane. You have a mini map up here in the top left. It's a little covered by my face, but that's going to show your. You get the gist. It shows like panes. You can do new panes laterally. Command T for new tabs. You can move between those with Command Shift H. Close all these. Right, so Command J and K is going to move you up and down. If you've got multiple contexts, which is Command Shift N to create a new one, other than, aside from, you know what I'm saying? Like Command N is the new panes. Command Shift N, new context. Command W is going to close your pane. Command Shift W is going to close your context. Command R is going to let you rename panes. Hi, Mom. As you can see here. You can also change the size of this in the config somewhere. Maybe it's in there, maybe it's not. Pane title font size. Great job, boyo. We're going to put this to 24. Boom! Look at that. So Command R is going to rename this, or your panes. Command Shift R is going to rename your contexts. We'll call it Context 1. Now, what I tried to do with this app was not necessarily to build something that has a particular workflow, but kind of like an operating system, like a micro operating system that's pane-centric, that you can really use however you want. For example, if you just prefer to do different panes, like this is your dev server, and you just prefer to jump between contexts, you can use Shift Command J and K to move between those. And you can have different processes running. Different processes running over here, and just kind of bop between those. Like let's say these are your servers. Let's say you got a server running here. You can just jump between these like this. What I tend to do is separate my projects with these contexts, which I really like. For example, let's say you're over here in context 1. I'm gonna we'll pop into, Let me just create a tempo. We'll do a temp prod. And then what you can do is hit Command-Shift-I, and as you can see up here, that sets this as the context root. And now new panes are going to default into that path. I don't have it set up to where that to like panes, so the active pane path is what's duplicated when you create a new thing, a new pane or split a tab or whatever. It always grabs from the context root. I found that to work for me. Maybe I'll add an option to change that in the future if you prefer to always duplicate the path of the current pane that you're in when you split or create new ones. La-di-da. But this just worked for what works for me. And then this, for example, could be a different path, and you pop between them like this. Fun fact: you can add a config toml file. Let me just copy the contents of this. You can add a config toml file inside a context root if you want. Let me just grab this preset Tokyo Night. You can create a config toml inside the root. I'm gonna put that here. Why didn't it grab the? Okay, questionable. And then it should. Oh, of course, it's the same thing. We'll go do our favorite Nord. Hopefully that shows up fine. And then if I switch back to that context, it doesn't work. And oh, did it? Guys, oh, I didn't put the config number. Okay. Don't worry about it. You get the gist. Nord. Save. That was supposed to work. Point is you can have directory scoped config files if you want different configs for different contexts. The reason it's not working at this exact moment is lost on me, but I promise it does work. Look in the, where's my other one? Here. You can see this context is a different color than this one. It does work, guys. I'm on the alpha build and something's probably broken and I'm dumb, so just don't worry about it. What else we got? New context. Wow, look at all these I have such questionable keyboard configurations right now. New context. Wow, going up and down these contexts. Somebody tell me something interesting. How about this? The app has its own runtime. Wow, why the frame rate is so trash on that, I'll get around to. But these are WASM containerized apps. It's a simple Python SDK. If you want to build simple apps like Snake or whatever. And so these just run in the panes in a WASM container. The app runtime itself I'm still cooking on, so expect that to change a lot. What's the next little nugget? Oh, Plexi pane list. So we have a CLI that basically you can use to drive the entire application. You can open panes, close panes, send context, send information to panes, execute commands within panes. It's pretty thorough. I think it covers like 90% of the actual entire host application. Like I could say Plexi context new, yeah. And it'll just create a new context. You can, there's arguments for adding the name and executing things within there, which is really handy dandy because then you can have an agent basically drive the whole instance. So you could say, open a context with these 3 panes and these 3 paths. And if it has the Plexi CLI or access to it, it can crawl the help. And you know, basically drive the host application for you. Because what's better than using a terminal multiplexer, not using a terminal multiplexer, and having an agent use it for you? It's the frame rate's better on my screen. I'm watching it on OBS and it's like, it's trash. Most of these apps run at 60 frames plus, I promise. It just looks trash on YouTube. What else we got? This CLI is pretty redonkulous. Oh, I should probably mention Command Enter for full screening things. Whee! Oh! So cool. Yeah, Command Enter for full screening and not. Also, you can move amongst your full screen applications with the same command, HJK. So if you want, like, you could really, and this is something that I've done here and there, is just like have a bunch of vertical panes giving me a general overview, and then I can just full screen them and kind of hop between them. Hello? Why aren't you? What? I don't know. But you get the gist. You can just like pop between them laterally, and they'll just be, you know, in here like this in a list. Yay! You could do the same thing vertically if you really wanted. Yay! You get the gist. I'm explaining terminal multiplexers to you. I get it. Anyway, the CLI, pretty robust. It's got everything you need. It's pretty easy for an agent to crawl it as well. Oh, that brings me, I should have just opened this first. That brings me to notifications. We do have Plexi. Why is half the time I'm closing these? We got Plexi Notify? Yeah. I don't know what this means. Yeah, so you can use the CLI, or an agent can drive the CLI to create notifications within Plexi. Those show up like this over here. So you can have your agents, you know, you can build your own notification system. These notifications can be context scoped. They can be pane scoped. So if you're like over here in a different context and you don't want to see any notifications for whatever's going on in context one until you get to context one and see all those notifications, you can do that. And like I said, a big goal with a lot of this, holy crap, we're at 17 minutes already, I apologize. A big goal with a lot of this was to not necessarily build the app with the set workflow and like this is how you do it, because building with agents and even like, you know, just using a terminal or any like shell, like your shell configuration is very personal, and I wanted this to, you know, to expose a lot of functionality, but then you yourself can go in and use it however you want. For me personally, like some days I'm really heavy in, like there are some contexts that I'm really heavy in in the notify system. Sometimes I'll be using subcontext because we have that. How do we access it? Push? Yeah. So you could push context, hit Command Escape into subcontext. So as you can see, this pane has a, you know, if I hit Command Enter, it's going to go inside. If I open this up and open maybe Snake again, if I pop this open and do another context push, it's going to push this pane into a subcontext. And then if I hit Command Escape, I can pop out of there. And now I'm at this level. And then if I hit Command Escape again, I'm popping out of there. And you can see that's sort of a preview of what's going on in here. We have a terminal. We've got a Plexi app, and we have a Plexi subcontext here. You can hit Command Enter to go inside there, Command Enter to go inside there. So sometimes I will be driving agents. I'll be over here and I'll say, you know, something to Claude like, hey, beep beep boop, spawn a subcontext with these agents. You know, spawn Claude instances or Codex instances or whatever, and it'll, you know, queue up a subcontext here with a series of agents, and then I can watch the progress, except that my face is covering it. And then I can, you know, watch their progress like this. I'm gonna close all these, you know, and then, yeah, that's one workflow. Or of course you can just, you know, queue them up. Cool, glad that works. You can just queue them up sequentially here. And an agent can run, a command to like Plexi pane list to get, a list of all the active panes. And then you can run Plexi, or you can also hold command or control to give you the pane IDs. So I can say pane, what is it? Pane send to 55, and then I think it's like this. I could say echo hi. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Echo hi. I think dash dash enter is gonna send it. Give me a moment. It's like, why would I know how to use my own app? There's just a lot to it. That's not the new line delineator. I did that the wrong direction, didn't I? I don't even have it on my keyboard. Yeah, okay, so that'll work. I think I thought about adding an enter flag. Point is, you could send commands to panes. I very much just re-rolled tmux, maybe for no great reason, but like, I had a good time. Shut up. I'm sorry, that was really harsh. You didn't know. Anyway, so you can then just have agents sort of drive these panes, which is real fancy schmancy. There's so much more. Can you just chill? There's so much more to this CLI. For instance, you can just drive entire host applications. So if you have multiple instances running, you can use Plexi host to basically run all the CLI commands, but in a separate host, which is really handy for building and testing Plexi apps, or really anything. I am cooking up like my own AI integration and assistant. It's not fleshed out yet, but you can hit, I should probably have mentioned Command P is gonna open your palette. I didn't even get to quick notes. Command P is gonna open your palette. It's searchable, fuzzy finding. These are all the apps. We got Tetris. Not what I wanted. Yeah, Command P is gonna open this up. You can search for apps, you can open apps. Does stats work? It's not gonna show good data, because it's, yeah, I don't even think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna crash. Point is, I forgot to mention, command control is gonna move your panes up and down, left, right, kinda cute. You've got commands, oh God, I'm not even gonna get into that right now. We have like task runners in the CLI. You've got directory scoped Plexi direct, like Plexi, .plexi folders that you can house commands that are accessible through, I think we got Plexi run. So you can just like create, I kind of just re-rolled just a file, or like make files as a thing. So you can have a centralized like Plexi task runner. Those have scheduling. I said I wasn't gonna get into it, but I just briefly rolled over it. This is a nonsense video. This is chaos. Whatever. Does Wikipedia work? It does. Cool. Maybe it doesn't. Poop. Wow. Wow. What was I getting into? Oh, quick notes. Okay. So then you can push Command space, or sorry, Command Shift space, and that's gonna open just a text editor. I'm currently, in the background right now, reworking this text editor to kind of work like Obsidian, so you have like live markdown rendering. Right now it's just pretty crappy, but it gets the job done. Gets the job done. Yeah, same, works full screen, do some typing, blah, 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 blah. And then what you can do with this is push Command O, and it'll list all of your notes. You can see I got text editor. If I name this to note 1, and I pop into a new pane, I can hit Command P. It'll show up in the full palette, but it'll also show up Command O. Okay, the Command O doesn't show the pane name, but it does in the Command P. I'll work on that. Where was I? Oh, what you can do is then create a bunch of notes, blah, 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 and access them all. Oh, wow, wait, is it doing it? No, it's just saying the first thing. Whatever, you get the gist. What you can do here is, wow, this is total chaos. What you can also do is hit Command 0, and that'll open just a quick note editor. So let's say you're over here playing Tetris, or you're talking to an agent, and you're like, oh, there's a thing. And like on the one hand, you could create a new quick note thing. Or you could hit Command 0 thing. Regular. And then you could hit enter. That's going to get sent to the same notes primitive. So you can open, hit Command O, and that note that you made, regular thing, could show up. So you could just, build a bunch of stuff like this and just drop a bunch of notes, do quick notes, blah, blah, blah. This is such a chaotic video. Is that it? I mean, that's not everything. That's maybe 50%. And like, it was so disjointed, but like, I figured better to just get a video out, talking through some things, and then just, if anybody's interested, to dive in, I think that's all I got. I'm like waiting, I'm holding the door open for like questions. There's nobody here. Nobody's asking any questions. That's all I got. Good luck, And if you use it and you love it, let me know. If you use it and you absolutely hate it, let me know. And then stop using it. Nobody should do something they hate. Okay, bye.